The Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code SGPN on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app. Use promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorches, where you can win 100 times your money. That's right, turn $5 into $500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, the 8th of October, and we've got nothing to talk about. So we're just going to make some stuff up for 40 minutes and hopefully have a lovely time. Joining me for the second time today is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Baz.
Evening. How are we doing?
What's happening?
I've got a burnt head. You see my head?
How?
Sunny the day, wasn't it?
I don't know. I haven't been out.
I had a couple of hours on the touchline, girls' football today, and I didn't take my cap because it was cloudy when I left the house, and by the time it got to midday, it was sunny. Now I've got a red scalp, which is
well,
par for the course for me. Fairly standard.
My arse has very, very rarely left the chair here in the corner. Half an hour earlier on when we did the NFL, 20 minutes when I knocked those sausages up. That's about it, Baz, I'm going to be honest with you. And now I'm back for another half an hour. I mean, my arse has only moved about 3 foot as the crow flies from my little corner in the sofa. But so we're going to pretend that we didn't talk earlier on. It's Barry's birthday today, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Barry. 43 years old, I believe. You got a little drink on?
I've got a nice glass of Australian Shiraz on the go here at the moment.
A nice glass of Shiraz, eh?
That was a gift for today, so rude not to. But yeah, it is my birthday, my 43rd birthday.
Have any good presents turned up since we spoke earlier?
No, still just the same. I got some aftershave and some t-shirts for my holidays because I'm going on my holidays soon.
Oh, you are, aren't you?
And some cash and some wine, and that's about it.
Where'd you get the cash from at your age?
Cash. My mother, who can't be asked to go shopping for presents, so she'll send me cash, and Helen's mother sends me cash as well. And what do? I just buy more wine, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's looking pretty grim here, Baz, because it's my birthday tomorrow, and as discussed earlier on. So I've got two. You know, like when you're a bit young, your presents are sort of can be laid out or accumulated, ready. So on the windowsill there's 3 cards, fair enough. I've got 2 presents down here, one of which my mother gave me is wrapped up, and I'm fairly certain, Baz, it's a box of Celebrations. The other one my sister brought round is down here unwrapped and is definitely a box of Celebrations. So I'm sitting, Baz, so far on 2 boxes. 2 boxes of Celebrations, and as discussed earlier on, ordered some anti-chafe underwear. The fat Samoans and Fijians advertise on the telly, so I can maybe just give the talcum powder a couple of weeks off. So I'll report back on how the anti-chafe underwear gets on, Bars. But that's about it. I'm still, Barry, we haven't talked about this yet. I'm still a little bit hungover from Wednesday, Sunday night now. So that's a nice little segue because we need to talk about Newcastle versus PSG, which is the catalyst, very much the catalyst for my hangover. I mean, you didn't make it up, unfortunately, but what an unbelievable night, Baz, in terms of the result from a football point of view, but then just from a Newcastle supporters point of view. It was brilliant. I went into town about 5 o'clock after you eventually shut up and let me leave, get to the pub. So I had a few beers before. We were in the Beelum house. So that's where the PSG Ultras did that little procession, which I couldn't tell if it was really good or really a bit shit. Because it was just sort of loads of kids with their masks up to here, banging the drums and waving their flares up. But it was interesting to see. There was loads of people outside taking videos as if it was like some sort of great big thing. Wouldn't have bothered looking if it hadn't gone directly past the window we were sat at. And then, got in there. Atmosphere was great. Me and my father had a good time. Few and far between those are going to be. And it was just brilliant. So after the game, went to bar 28, stayed out for a few. And then somebody suggested we went to Filthy's. I've never been in Filthy's bars before. Have you been in Filthy's?
Not in Newcastle. We had one in Nottingham a while ago.
Okay.
Used to be a good night, quite lively.
Well, it was like an open mic night, so there was just two fellas with guitars on. And obviously they had no choice really but to play up to the crowd and play so they played La 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 Geordies about 19 times. They played Oh Anthony Gordon about 14 times. They had no choice, every time. And then I said to Tiger at one point, I said he doesn't want to try throwing in a Monday night song here, like a couple of maudlin little ditties. I mean, the place is full of pissed up Geordies who've just had the best nights of their life. He tried to knock out You're Beautiful by James Blunt.
Oh my God.
Come on, mate. You've got to read the room a bit, haven't you, Barry? Like, never has a man been booed off so fast than this fella trying to knock out You're Beautiful by James Blunt when we just wanted to sing Oh Anthony Gordon for another 3 hours. But yeah, did you watch it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did watch it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of them where you just got to pinch yourself at times.
Yeah.
When you get the 3-0 up. And even at 3-0 up, as soon as they scored 3-1, I mean, the game was completely under control from the first minute. But even when it gets to 3-1, we've just been sort of put through so much shit over the years that even at 3-1, you sort of think, oh no, this could unravel here. And then that Shaw goal at the end just epitomised everything, really, the effort from him. I mean, what was he doing? 25 yards out. With 3-1 up, hold on to what you've got, take the win. And then Fabian Shaw wins the tackle 25 yards out, plays the 1-2, and then Bosch, absolute great strike. But you couldn't make it up. The scorers, Longstaff and Byrne, Geordie boys, local lads, absolutely living the dream. Just outstanding. And Lascelles as well, who you talked down. You said he's dog shit. I just said
no. I said he's not very good, and he's not. But he was.
But for someone like him, who's probably thought his time was up at Newcastle, to be able to lead the team out as captain in a game like that and get a result, absolutely outstanding. He was quality as well. But yeah, great game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously,
I said to some of the young'uns in the pub that that Fabian Shaw goal was their Philippe Albert moment.
Yeah.
Apropos of nothing, a centre-back coming and rounded off the most famous victory of your generation, like Philippe Albert did in the 5-0 against Manchester United all those years ago.
Funnily enough, there's a woman at work who's a West Ham fan, so she was sort of talking to me about this weekend's game. She's a big football fan, but she'd said the same. She'd watched our game. And she said that Fabian Shaw moment reminded her of the 5-0 over Man United with Philippe Albert. So that was good knowledge from her. I'd expect a Newcastle fan to think of that. But yeah, it was good knowledge.
So this weekend, Baz, what we're going to do tonight is we'll have a little look around what's happened this weekend. And then because it's international break again, boo. So there's nothing at all. There's not even any League One stuff, any AFL Cup. There's nothing until next weekend. So it's a good point. 8 games into the year seems like a good point to just have a little look around our pre-season picks to see how we're looking at our futures picks. We can look at some of the teams that have impressed us, some of the teams that haven't, and then I'll make some picks if there are any picks that stand out for any futures markets. I've got a couple that stand out an absolute mile, so you can reinvest your futures portfolio. Serial is up. If you missed the NFL live show earlier with myself and Baz, we put together Barry's birthday build-a-bet. and it very nearly hit. We put it together. I very generously donated £6.93 to the cause. We picked, I think it was 18 or 19 to 1. And we picked some of the listeners picked some. And Barry, your pick let us down. There was 2 picks let us down out of the 6. But yeah, apart from that,
my pick got close in the end. I went over 48
I don't know how.
It was never, ever close, and then finished on 45 points. But yeah, we had about 6 selections in there, 4 winners, and 2 of them missed by a whisker in the end. So it was a good shout. But we put some good picks out on there.
We did,
Trevor Lawrence under 1.5 touchdown passes. I put another Calvin Ridley, went well over. You put out the Jags on the handicap and another prop, I think. So we've done some good stuff today.
Well, on the back of my Premier League picks, Baz, I'm considering transitioning full time into an NFL show, I think, because my picks sucked off again. Although
you got absolutely robbed today, though, because your picks weren't very good. However, you should have.
Well, right, hang on. We'll walk that back. The results weren't very good, Bad. The picks were fine.
All right.
But anyway, carry on.
You could have absolutely redeemed yourself with the red card double. First leg came in yesterday, and the last leg just needed a red card in the Arsenal versus Man City game.
And there was one.
How the hell did you not get a red card in that first half? Kovacic on a yellow card, studs up into ankle, and it was just a red card all day, and the ref bottled it. You're absolutely robbed there. And I know a couple of people had followed that as well. Simon, one of my mates, had got in touch to say he was on it. At half time, he was still confident. He felt good. There was plenty of yellow cards as well. So you felt you had a chance. But that was shocking. I don't know how he stayed on the pitch. And that would have been, a nice 25 to 1 winner.
It was 22.5 to 1 I took it at. But,
very hard.
And that was Michael Oliver as well, who's really heralded as the best referee that we've got. Michael Oliver's for people who don't know, is a Newcastle fan. His season ticket, he sits about 20 seats along from me. So I might have to go and have a word with him next week. I still find it incredible that a Premier League referee can have a season ticket and jump around like a mad supporter at a Premier League match, which is a bit odd. But yeah, that pretty much summed up my weekend, because like I say, I don't think some of my picks were terrible, although the results were. But we'll get to that in a little while. Let's first talk about game time. Game time helping you get tickets for all your favourite events. We've got MLB playoffs going at the moment. Go and listen to the MLB Gambling podcast if you want your tips on that. I did okay on there this week, Baz. Game time, we've got the fastest and easiest way to help you buy tickets for all sport, music, comedy and theatre near you. Killer deals on last minute tickets. You can get images of your seat view, lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, all kinds of great things via the Game Time app. One of the best things is the Game Time guarantee, where they credit you 110% of the difference. And if you can find a cheaper seat in the same section and row. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem the code SGPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And Hall of Fame bets, helping you win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season. The sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB and soccer bet with historical stats and data. The parlay optimizer tool is the best feature here. It'll break down your parlay by leg, expected probability, who's hot, who's not. So stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. Yeah, so last weekend was all right, because even though my picks weren't very good, all the results were hilarious. And we said it was an all-time match of the day. Like, here's Man United getting beat. Here's Everton getting beat. Here's Liverpool getting beat, and terrible things happening to them. Oh, by the way, here's Newcastle winning. This weekend, Baz, was nothing like that. So I haven't enjoyed it at all, because my picks were robbed, and all the shit teams won. Everton won, Man United won. Newcastle did all right today. But I just knew, I mentioned to you, Baz, about me playing from behind all week. So the pick in my first game was over 1.5 first half goals, Luton Tottenham. Fuck me. They missed 3 of the best chances you'll ever see in the first 7 minutes. Like, we could have did cash by 1:15 on Saturday lunchtime. Absolutely horrendous. So with anything approaching average luck, that would have been okay. Man United, under 2.5 goals. So the anatomy of a disaster here was, after 92 minutes, it was both funny and I was winning. After 93 minutes, it wasn't as funny, but I was still winning. After 97 minutes, it wasn't even a little bit funny and I was losing. So there was 3 stages of that just completely unraveling. That's not even possible. The only solace you can take in that is they're still absolutely shit. If they're bang average, substitute CDM has to come on and save the day. That's no progress at all. Yeah. The only bad picks, I think, maybe bad were the underdog picks. Burnley, who got humped, and Sheffield United. And I think, oh, shit, it turns out. So that's one of those things. Today was weird because it was 3 draws. 3 score draws this afternoon. Brighton got in front, couldn't hold on. Wolves got in front, couldn't hold on. And then the Man City Arsenal game was just a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Really? That was a winner. I had the under 2.5. So, yeah, that was kind of my weekend. But I would make probably 5 or 6 of the same picks again. And I would probably win 4 or 5 most times. But one of those, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, I've done okay. I started off with Tottenham handicap and red card. Obviously, put an end to that pretty much. I mean, that red card was absolutely ludicrous. The Basuma on the yellow card and the most blatant dive.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even in the box. He wasn't even trying to win a penalty. This was like 5 yards outside the box. Hats off to the referee in that one.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't give it and he doesn't have the conviction to send him off, VAR couldn't have intervened because it was just a second yellow. So really, really well played by the ref there to spot that and send him off. And nobody had any arguments because it was the most blatant second yellow you've ever seen. So that wasn't great. I took the overs in the Everton game, fairly comfortable there. Fulham team total landed for me. The Man United game, I copped out, didn't I? When I was going to take Man United on the Asian handicap -1, which would have been a push, but I ended up going for cards. It was the first game of the season. I went for both teams to get 2 cards. Brentford hit 5 of them, and Man United had none. They've hit 2 in every single game. It was a game I didn't like for a bet at all, so I wasn't surprised that one went wrong. We both hit the Palace Forest game. I don't think you mentioned that. That was the draw. So, being a good plus money price, plus 225, got me into profit for the day. And then today, bit of a half and half day for me. I had I've done all right because I laddered the first half goals, Liverpool-Brighton. So the main pick was over 1.5. We've got 3-1 for over 2.5 first half goals. And then in the Newcastle game, I went for over 2.5, which again landed quite comfortably. But no good for me in the other ones. I took Man City and I took Villa. So I wasn't far off. That 2 o'clock games had the treble. The first half goals, the over 2.5 in the Newcastle game, and then Villa. And if Villa had hit, that would have been a really nice day for me. But all in all, decent weekend. As I say, the draw pushed me into profit on that Forest-Fulham game. Newcastle today, I just had a dodgy feeling about Newcastle. And I come away thinking, I think it's a good result.
Yeah.
Just felt like after all of the sort of highs of the week, of the midweek, I just had a feeling it would be a bit of a challenge. And we knew we were missing Gordon, we're still missing Joe Linton, Joe Willock, Botman. We should have seen it out. Like, there was only one team in it in that second half. So disappointing to throw it away so late. But I think all in all, given the form West Ham are in, it was a good result for Newcastle and probably a good time for a break for Newcastle as well, with the chance to get some players back from injury after the international break. Yeah,
well, obviously we listen to consume a lot of NFL stuff, and if you'd listened to an NFL style show about that, they would have told you it was a big letdown spot for Newcastle. Now, no one in this country would kind of handicap it that way, but I actually saw that in the Discord channel and stuff. People were saying, this is a letdown spot. if West Ham had equalised in the 78th minute and it was 2-2, you'd have gone, yeah, fair enough. It's a bit of a sickener because it was the 88th. And I thought we were better than them pretty much throughout, comfortably. But yeah, you're right, the international break comes at a decent time because we get Botman back and Joe Linton, what have you. So not a terrible result. I would have taken it at the start of the day, but
yeah.
Right, okay. So yeah, we're gonna have a look around some of our things that we've liked, some of the things that we've not liked, and try and find a couple of picks down the stretch. Underdog Fantasy is a great way to play alongside your favourite football team all season long. Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. You can go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100 times payout. For a limited time, Underdog is extending the first deposit bonus up to $500. 100 grand Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players will win 10 grand each. So watch along, make your picks, maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. I'll throw one out live now, which is the one I threw earlier on. It's a Christian McCaffrey under rushing yards. It's under 79 point something. Everybody's rolled their eyes and shaking their head. The Cowboys are going to bottle him up. If you listen to the podcast, you can check that retrospectively and just give a little knowing nod, thinking, I tell you what, that Mala's a shrewd judge, is what you'll say. Houston have just hit the front bars with a minute left. Another one of my underdog players of the day. They've got a 1 point lead. Falcons need a field goal. No thanks. Right, so what I started doing, Baz, here, made a few notes, was have a little look through the £1 Million Show picks, and we'll get to most of the teams, and it'll probably take us to a lot of the markets, the top end, the middle, the bottom end, stuff like that as we go. So we can take in a lot of talking points as we head through. Even I made these notes, Baz, yesterday morning, and even since then, a lot of shit's changed. Two things in particular, actually, which we'll get to. Three things. So at the top end, Falcons are in field goal range, Baz. So my £500,000 pick to get me in profit was Manchester City win the league and Haaland top scorer, which my notes say is in a good place, but nothing's really changed. Now, 24 hours on, they lost to Arsenal, but I still think that sentence holds up. It's probably the same price, Baz. So using that as a jumping off point for Manchester City, I mean, we haven't really learned much other than I think they're missing De Bruyne. They missed Rodri. I mean, even they've lost 3 out of 4 games, Baz. Which game did I tip them? I took them to lose on the show in the Champions League game. The only one they've won. Can't catch a break. Like, I've got them right and got them wrong all at the same time. So yeah, they've lost at Wolves. There's been no separation between them and the others. So really, it just, like I say, not too much to report on City. I don't quite know what to make of them, Baz.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think today's result massively changes anything in terms of their favouritism for the title race. Obviously, it changes things in terms of how big a favourite they are, because if they'd won it, makes a massive difference that way. But I still think City will rightfully be favourites because we know how consistent they'll be. Haaland is comfortably there. So, like you, my first pick on the £1 Million Show pre-season was Man City and Haaland double as well. Haaland's sitting on 8 goals, 2 clear of Alexander Isak. So yeah, Haaland still looks good, and Man City will improve. First time they've lost back-to-back games in the league for a long time. But as you say, missing De Bruyne and Rodri, I mean, how annoyed must have been with Rodri for such a stupid red card.
Yes.
He missed 3 games that they've lost. All 3 of those games that Rodri hasn't been there. Just madness. Absolute madness. Silly red cards like that just must drive.
Well, Kovacic easily, should have had one again today. You just got to be a little bit better. Like, sometimes red cards happen, the unfortunate things can happen. But that today and the one for Rodri are just absolutely barking mad. Like, I've no idea what they were trying to achieve. Another one of my plays was City to win the league and Sheffield United to finish bottom at 9-2. And my note here says it would pay out if the season ends today. Well, that was yesterday. It wouldn't pay out if the season ends today, Baz. It would have for yesterday, though. And that can take us right to the bottom of the league because we had fairly high hopes on Luton and Burnley. We had quite high hopes on Burnley. We thought Luton might be all right. We thought Sheffield United might struggle. But I tell you what, all three of them are looking dog shit at the minute. Really, really poor. I'm still waiting for Burnley to do something. I mean, they've won one game, which was Luton, so we can't really count that in this. Sheffield United competed a couple of times, got humped off Newcastle and haven't recovered. And Burnley, just the little Manchester City light, just isn't working for them at all. No. So what do you do with any of those three?
So I mean, I took Sheffield United to finish bottom as well. That was just in a single at 11-4. Sheffield United currently sitting on bottom 1 point, so sitting all right there. I think the only benefit for those three teams at the moment is the fact Bournemouth are equally terrible.
Yeah.
And gives them a sniff that one of them can get out. And I still think Everton are definitely in the mix as well. Brentford could get dragged into it. Wolves could get... Wolves have done okay again, haven't they? Good result last week, and they'll probably take a 1-1 draw against a good Villa side. Which leads into one of my picks, actually. I took Wolves to be the lowest scoring team at 8-1. And the reason for that was they only scored 31 last season. And in my opinion, they've got worse and would struggle. They're currently sitting on 9 goals from 8 games, so they're slightly higher than what they were averaging last year. Lowest scoring team at the moment is Bournemouth on 5, so it's not without a chance, but probably a bigger price now than it was when I backed it.
Yeah, well, I took Everton in that market. Again, yesterday, when were great. So scored 6. They're only 1 in front of Sheffield United and Bournemouth, but they're not anymore. They scored 3 again. But I'll stay with that market then, Baz, down the bottom, because you mentioned Bournemouth. And that result yesterday is a shocker. Like, they are now the one of two winless teams. Only Sheffield United and Bournemouth. They've shown very little field goals. Good for the Falcons, Baz. I'm a loser. They've shown very little. 5 goals in 7. They've got the 3rd worst defence. I mean, I just think, what am I looking to finish bottom of the league? Baz was the market I was looking at. So Sheffield United and Luton are both 11-8 plus 137. Bournemouth are 14-1. Now I don't think they should be 10 times bigger, Baz, to finish bottom. They're 2-1 to go down, or they were 2-1 to go down before yesterday. They're 7-4, so they've been nipped in a quarter of a point for a game at a dogshit Everton team where they didn't have a shot on target, Barry. We were promised chaos from your man Iraola. You said on the show last week, there's been no chaos at all. But 14-1 to finish bottom. We'll pick there's much more worse 14-1 shots kicking around than Bournemouth to finish bottom of the Premier League, Baz. And 7-4 to go down is a great bet as well.
Yeah, I mean that sounds reasonable value, like that 14-1 shot. From what we've seen so far, they're equally as bad as the likes of Luton and Sheffield United.
Yeah. Another team I was quite high on, Barry. Another team we've done well this season, Aston Villa. And I found another pick here, which I quite like, which is Aston Villa to finish in the top 6. Took them pre-season at 9-4. And as it stands now, Baz, they're 6-4, plus 150 to make the top 6. Now, there's a lot of... they're in 5th at the moment. Picked up the point today, and it's the teams around them. So I think Brighton will stay below them. You're looking at the competition sort of in the market. Brighton will definitely stay below them. Brighton are going to... What we've seen Brighton do is what they'll keep doing. They'll win the odd game, but they're going to get humped occasionally as well. Newcastle will pass them, definitely. And that really leaves Manchester United and Chelsea as your possible options to pass them. There's nothing we've seen out of Man United at all to suggest they're going to be able to do that. Chelsea are difficult to assess, Barry, because they've had 2 wins in a row. But yesterday's was against Burnley being shit. Fulham the other night. I still think Chelsea are going to face more ups and downs. Villa should be pretty constant. I don't think they're going to vary much from this. I think what we've seen out of Villa is what we've got. They're a good side. They're well coached. They've got a lot of good players. Even that is a comparison to Brighton. When I saw the Brighton lineup today, I instantly didn't like it. As it happens, they played quite well because the manager's got them playing well. But Villa, there's no reason why Villa can't keep this up, Barry. And for them to finish in the top 6, still now at 6-4, I think it's a good bet, Baz.
Yeah, so I took Villa top 6, and I'm still quite happy with that as well. I had the exact same pick, but I think you've summed it up nicely there.
And the other little my Villa angle was the handicap, Barry. I took them at plus 31 at the start of the season, plus 31 points, 14-1. It was one of those where whenever my betting account was out of equilibrium, I just put on the £2.74, the £3.20, the £1.19. So I've ended up with about 40 quid on them in various small iterations at 14-1. I think Newcastle had, for example, 18 points. The team that arrived at the moment, the team I got wrong, are West Ham. And West Ham got a 39-point head start. I still think Villa will finish 8 points above West Ham. That seems like a reasonable play to me. So I'm all right with that. And that does lead us into a couple of the teams that I think I got wrong, Baz, at the moment. One of them being West Ham. They've started really well. Lots of my match bet picks in the preview were someone to finish above West Ham, especially sort of the middle to bottom third of the teams, sort of Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, all those sort of teams, 12th down to 16th. And that might be wrong because I don't think they're great, but they've got enough. It's, again, simple as it sounds, good players, but Ward-Prowse is a good player. Alvarez looks like a good player. And they just look fairly solid, like fairly consistent. They'll be all right. Yeah,
I mean, talking to West Ham, one of my worst picks from these pre-season bets. I would caveat this with, we done the £1 million show, and a lot of the season previews before West Ham had done any business. All they'd done, all they'd done is sold Declan Rice, and all of the incomings were late on. So Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Kudus, all came in later. I went with Moyes to be the first manager to get the boot, although that was put out after the point where Lopetegui was gone. So I don't think we've had another manager gone yet. So it's not dead. But let's be honest, Moyes
did Lopetegui get to make the season start?
No, I don't think he did.
Right, okay. I can't remember.
So yeah, that bet isn't dead, but Moyes isn't going anywhere because, as you say, West Ham have done really well. West Ham definitely I underestimated, but as I say, a lot of those season preview shows were before they'd done any business, and what we said is they'd lost some good players. At the time when we were talking about West Ham as well, there was a lot of feeling that they might lose Paqueta. And that didn't come off either. So
yeah, actually, Man City had a bid in for him as we did the show, didn't they?
Yeah, and then at that point you think, when Man City come in, they're going to get him. So that didn't happen. But yeah, we definitely underestimated West Ham. And the other one is definitely Spurs, isn't it?
Yes.
Again, we were handicapping Spurs at a time where we didn't know if Kane would stay or go. I'm not using that as an excuse, because realistically, when Kane goes, that doesn't make me suddenly think Spurs are going to be better. And the fact they didn't sign a striker made me think they were going to have a hard time of it. But yeah, definitely hold my hands up and say I've got Spurs wrong. Although it did get them right in a market where I think you might have took the same pick. And that's the most assists market. Did you go for Maddison as well?
Can't remember.
Most assists, I've got Maddison, I put up at 20-1, and Mo Salah at 12-1. Maddison leads the table with 5 assists, and Salah is on 4. So Maddison, Neto, and Trippier all have 5. Salah is on 4 with Watkins and Kufal.
Was that in your Spurs preview?
No, this was in the £1 million show. I put out the most assists for James Maddison, 20-1, 50k. So that would get me my $1 million back. he'd hit 9 last season in a poor Leicester side, is what I'd said at the time. And I just thought 20s was a big price for him. And certainly the way he started looks really good. And as we know, Salah will keep chipping away and always be in with a shout at that 12-1. So yeah, the most assists market's one of the strongest for me, which is looking in good shape at good prices.
No, Bruno Fernandes, Baz, was my play in that. I'll tell you what is live, Baz.
What there, Malcolm, is he plays for Man United.
Well, I forgot to mention while I was talking through that anatomy of the Man United game was I captained Rashford. Thank you. You're all very welcome, no problem. But when Man United won, I then thought there's got to be some safety net in there if Rashford or Fernandes doing something. Nothing. So I didn't even get that little crumb of comfort. That was an additional kick in the bollocks, frankly.
Rashford was pulled off, wasn't it? Chasing the game,
right?
and Rashford was taken off.
Okay.
Which tells you everything you need to know about his form at the moment. When Man United are 1-0 down and they're bringing Rashford off, and Casemiro came off at half time. I've seen a lot of Man United fans saying his legs are gone. He looks tired. He looks old. They've still got another 3 years on his contract as well. Shows you how fickle sport is, though, isn't it? Like, Ten Hag would have been under the cosh if that had finished 1-0. The knives would have been out for Ten Hag, and in the end, it's a victory lap around the pitch after the game.
Actually, what's changed?
If you're looking at Man United, you're still handicapping them the same way. Showed good resilience to come back from that, but the fact they were in that position against that Brentford side, who are really struggling at the moment, tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my Millie Show notes here, Baz. One of my picks is absolutely live. In fact, they should be paying it out already. It's the top 3 in any order: City, Arsenal, Newcastle at 10-1. There is no way we don't finish in the top 2, Barry. Absolutely no way we don't finish in the top 2. Clip that. Put that out at the end of the year. Tottenham. The 2 options with Tottenham, I was wrong on them. Because, and again, it's a weird thing. With Pochettino, he needs time. Everyone needs time, except Postecoglou, who didn't need time. No one's mentioned that. Well, why isn't it taking him time? Why does everyone else need 6 months? But it's taken him literally 2 minutes.
Why does Ten Hag need 5 years, is what I keep saying. Yeah. I heard someone on the radio yesterday saying, well, it's a 4-year project with Ten Hag, isn't it? We've got to give him time.
Tottenham will regress a little bit. Look against Man United, 100th minute against Sheffield United, 100th minute own goal against 9 men when they should have been behind against Liverpool. All the caveats in that one. They will regress a little bit. But you can't help but I'm not pleased for them, I don't like them. But they're the closest thing I've seen to what Eddie Howe did in Newcastle, which was just get everyone going in the same direction. Everyone enjoying it, everyone playing it. And that's all you want. Like, that's all people want. It's all Tottenham fans now. They were probably taking the piss out of Newcastle. In fact, I spoke to them too on the way out to St James's Park last year, taking the piss out of Newcastle fans. But they now got the feeling that we've got. And that's all you ever want. Like, you know what I mean? Waving a tin pots around is fine. But it's not the be all and end all. Like, they've got back the enjoyment of their club, which is exactly what they want. I did try and find a bet on Tottenham.
This of fans again, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, of course.
Tottenham fans were all knives out for Levy and the ownership, particularly when Kane goes and all of that, and how it dragged on. And then it just shows it, doesn't it? You win 2 or 3 games, and all of that is forgotten about. Nobody's singing Enoch out, Levy out, any of that anymore. Just shows how, results. Had Spurs have come in and lost the first couple of the season, it could really have unravelled quite quickly in terms of the atmosphere around the club. But as you say, Postecoglou's got everyone behind, pulling in the right direction. You can't sort of underestimate the value of just having the fans on side. We've seen it at Newcastle, and you are seeing it now at Spurs.
Yeah. So I tried to find a Tottenham bet, but I couldn't. The bookies are bang on. Tottenham are straddling the line between 4th and 5th. That's where they'll finish. And that's where the bookies have got them. And they've got them absolutely right, bang on. I've just told you the top 3, so you don't need to worry about that, which leaves them. So are they going to finish in the top 4 or not? And the bookies are absolutely bang on the money. So there's no value to be had in Tottenham at all. But yeah, they've been good and they'll continue to be a good watch. I'm quite looking forward. I don't know when we play Tottenham. But it should be a fun encounter anyway. And that's me, Baz. I think that we've had a look around the top, the bottom, the top 6, the top 4, the relegation markets. Have you got anything particularly you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I hadn't picked any new picks out because I'm fairly happy with where my pre-season picks are in most cases. I did have a little look earlier at the sack race to see what the latest odds were. I was interested to see who was top in the market there. Paul Heckingbottom, 4-6 favourite, -150 to be the next manager to go. Ten Hag's in at 5-1 now. Iraola's got to be coming under the cosh soon, potentially. 2-1 for Iraola. I thought before yesterday, I thought Dyche was a big price. He was about 14-1. Just one of those things. They've
got nowhere to go though if they get rid of Dyche. They've got nowhere to go.
That's the thing, and they will. They'll keep chipping away and winning one every 5 games or something like that, which will just keep him safe. So yeah, no new picks, but quite happy with most of what I've done. But yeah, definitely hold my hands up with teams you've mentioned. I sort of looked at my predicted league table for the league, and where am I? I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I've got mine here.
The ones I got wrong. I mean, I had Spurs down in 9th. I would definitely push them higher. Chelsea in 7th need to go down a few notches. Most of the top 6, fairly happy with how I had those. But West Ham I had down in 14th. I had Burnley up as high as 11th. They need to come down a bit. But look at my bottom 3. Sheffield United, Everton, Bournemouth. I had Luton just sneaking out of it. I had Bournemouth going down at the start of the season. And I don't dislike that play at the moment. So yeah, a lot of it, I wouldn't make massive changes, but definitely West Ham and Spurs were the 2 that stood out as needing to go up a bit. Chelsea definitely need to drop down a bit, although they did get the win yesterday. Still not overly impressed with them, but who knows? Chelsea will go out and spend another 300-400 million in January, no doubt. You never know, they might buy a striker.
Yeah, they might just do that. Well, I have got 3 picks I'm happy to throw out. And they are Bournemouth at 14-1 to finish bottom. Bournemouth at 7-4 to get relegated. And Aston Villa for the top 6 at 6-4. I think all 3 of those are absolutely worth dipping your toe in the market again. I tried, Baz, to have to put a birthday bet on for you on Newcastle to win the FA Cup and the League Cup and the Champions League, but you couldn't parlay them for some reason. And then I took out one of them just to make it a double, so I couldn't even get the FA Cup and League Cup double on.
That's strange. You could at the start of the season. You could bet combinations of trophies that teams would win. Because I'm sure I've looked
you took Man United, didn't you?
Yeah, can't remember which. How I found. I'm sure it was on Bet365. But,
that's what I was looking. But I certainly couldn't parlay. Anyway, long story short, you didn't get your birthday bet, but there you go. Well, that'll do, Baz. We'll come back on Thursday. Or was it Wednesday?
Wednesday we'll be back. So there is international football. The first game's on till Thursday, so it didn't make any sense covering that now when we can cover it on Wednesday. So we'll cover all the international qualifiers.
Might be League 1 and League 2 stuff as well, Barry.
Yeah. We'll find some stuff. I mean, given that we're a little bit short about them, we can have a quick 2 minutes of lifestyle. Should I tell people about our
lifestyle? How are you?
Well, yeah, it's a story that we shelved for a bit. I know the Lego one will probably have to stay a little later.
Yeah, we'll leave that for another day.
Mystery tour.
About
our mystery tour and the dramas we had last week. So basically, I have booked for me, Malcolm, and 6 other gentlemen a mystery tour. I've done it last year for 6 of us, and Malcolm's a new addition this year. So I have booked flights, I've booked hotels, I've told people the dates we leave, the dates we come back, and that's it. Told them how much they owe, they paid the money. Nobody knows where we are going. It's a mystery until we get to the airport. So only me that knows. But yeah, we had a good plan in place. We leave 6:30 on a Friday morning to a destination somewhere in Europe. We come back around 4:30 on Sunday evening. So Friday night, Saturday night. And I am a bit concerned about how you're going to cope with a heavy Friday night and then having to follow it up with a Saturday night.
I was talking to young Harry. I had a casino last night, and me and Harry were on the van, and I was talking to him about it because I got in the van last night, and it still felt like two people were punching us in the kidneys from Wednesday. So we were discussing how I could not be so bad. Wednesday night, I went bonkers, Baz. I must have drank 9 gallons of rum, like some sort of like pirate. But I'll be all right. It's not my first rodeo. I'll be fine.
So anyway, flights booked, hotels booked. I get an email last weekend telling me that there has been a slight change to the flight times. So I opened the email. The slight change was to push our Friday flight 6:30 in the morning to around midday, but that's midday on a Sunday. So now the flight arrives at Sunday at 3 o'clock and returns at Sunday at 4 o'clock, giving us less than 1 hour. I think it was actually 25 minutes in our destination. Yeah. It was literally putting us on the flight there and then the same flight coming all the way back. So I had a bit of a panic on. They said we could have a refund or we could reschedule our flights. There are no flights to this destination from this airport other than those Sunday flights. The hotels are booked, hotels paid for and are non-refundable. So we had a bit of a panic on. Fortunately, we've got it changed. We're not flying from Nottingham anymore. We're flying from Leeds to the same destination, staying in the same hotel. So all ended up well in the end. But yeah, when you get an email saying there's been a slight change, I think and one of the options was you can keep your flights. And I'm thinking, hold on, there's literally 25 minutes in the country here. So that was a bit of a drama, but not that far off now. Just over 5 weeks till mystery tour. Plans are well underway. Itinerary is coming together, all to be revealed on the eve of the.
What made me laugh most about all of that, Baz, was that no one, because we don't know where we're going. We couldn't even help you. Normally, you'd say, "I'll have a look." Like you get roped into the admin. "Oh, I'll have a look around. I'll check this website. You check that." We couldn't do that. You just had to do it all by yourself, and we just got to sit in our arse and do nothing. So that was my favourite bit of all of that.
Yeah, to be fair, it all worked out in the end, but it could have been an absolute catastrophe. Although not a massive catastrophe because the sums of money we've spent, I've literally found the cheapest flights to the cheapest destination we can find and a cheap hotel. It's cost us pennies to go away for this weekend. So if we had to cancel a hotel and fly somewhere different, it wouldn't have been a massive hardship. But yeah, all's well that ends well. So hopefully, touch wood, no further changes to the schedule.
The few people I've talked to about this trip are mildly concerned when I tell them how much it's cost about the possible living arrangements or whatever. But I couldn't give a shit, as you know me.
People were concerned
last
year.
I'm not concerned.
Six of us went last year for less than £160. So a couple of $100, and we flew into Venice. We had one night in Venice. We got a train across to Bratislava in Slovakia and had 2 nights in Slovakia. 3 nights hotels, flight into Venice, flight out of Bratislava. It was like 160 quid. And people were concerned last year until they realised where we were and they come away just saying, how have you done this for £160? So, it'll be a good trip. Nothing to be concerned about, that's for sure.
My main concern at the minute, Baz, is if you would be sharing a room with you, have you doing the sleeping arrangements?
I mean, you can take a choice. If you don't want to share with me, you can take your pick, mate.
Well, right, they say that's concerning even more now. I've shared a room with you before, Barry, and it's like being on safari. The noises that come out of you are absolutely unholy. So I don't know how bad the others are, but they can't be. It's not possible to be worse than you. It's not possible. So I'll share a room with literally anybody else, Barry.
Literally anybody, yeah. That can be that. The rooms aren't decided yet, but yeah, we can sort.
Unless you haven't got us in one of those like 6 bunk bed sort of dorm situations, have you?
No, we've got 4 twin rooms. No, it's all pretty standard.
Put me in with your brother or something, like your good look, like Jamie, not Darren. I can imagine he's quite a noisy character as well. I'll have a look through. Just while you were talking about that, it suddenly came back to me, but I heard the word crepuscular last night. For the second time in my life, Crepuscular featured when Bruno the Lizard was arrived in your house. And yeah, I can't remember what was on telly, but whatever it was Crepuscular, but
yeah, interesting.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, a word that nobody had heard of 6 months ago. Nope. There you go.
Absolutely not. Oh, well, there you go. Well done. And that's it. I think everything is discussed on Wednesday night. I will take you through the glittering array of birthday presents that I get tomorrow, Baz. See if, especially if me anti-chafing pants have turned up, I might do a demonstration or something like that. So you can
run or something. So you really put them to the test.
I will sashay around the living room for 20 minutes and see how I get on. Right, champion. Well done, Baz. Thank you very much. Like, rate, review, as Baz normally points out. Lots going on this week. I'll redirect you to anything on the network which is NFL related, or more importantly, MLB playoffs. We've got the live tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Myself and Dylan are going to break down the NLDS Game 2. Did okay in the Game 1s. Couple of big price winners, Diamondbacks at 2-1, and we took Texas at +130. So yeah, get across the MLB stuff if you want. But otherwise, good luck with any bets. Get your eye over the international card, and me and Baz will do the same. And we'll reconvene here on Wednesday to sort it out. Cheers, Barry. Enjoy the rest of your birthday. And we'll see everybody else down the road.